And so the head of the Kamisato clan, the elder brother of our lovely egghead, I mean our lovely Ayaka, please Ayato, I'm just joking, is finally gonna come back. Now he already has a couple of reruns before, so I would assume that most of us have already got Ayato on our account if you did one for him, but for those of you who hasn't pulled for him or is new to the game and want Ayato, I do wish you good luck getting him. However guys, it has been a while since his first release and there has been so many characters being released from there too, and definitely that goes for his team, and that of course would affect how his team is presented, which is why we have today's video guys, looking in depth into some of the best updated team that Ayato has at this point in time, so that yes, you have some new team to play around with, or you have the most updated team to go for if you have just got Ayato. Now guys, I want to give a huge shout out for today's sponsor, Surfshark VPN. They're having a huge Black Friday deals for us. There's a link down below with my code SUPRA to get up to 6 additional months for free. I've been very happy with this service. Surfshark VPN is the only privacy product that allows unlimited simultaneous devices. Most of them limit you, but not Surfshark. You can have it on your phones, your desktop, as many devices as you want. So Surfshark encrypts your data to keep it safe. It's an extra layer of security for your photos, your videos, all of your personal stuff so no one can see. Also, being a VPN, it swaps the real location of your devices with a new one, or in other words, it's your IP address. This way you can basically virtually travel to any country around the world. It is very easy to use. With a simple click of a button, you're basically there to where you wanna be. If you're an anime lover like me and would love to get access to a giant anime library on Netflix, then you can just simply click to Japan and voila! You now got a lot of anime to watch to your heart content. And what's great for us gamers is that you can now game in full privacy and security that includes big ones like hiding your IP, discords and other chats, and now you don't really have to worry about it anymore. It also even potentially allows you to access gaming servers that weren't available in your countries before. Protection is truly key guys. I'm sure any of you who have had your Genshin Impact account hacked before can truly understand this. So use my code SUPRA to get up to 6 additional months for free. There will be a link down in my description, and if for whatever reason you're unhappy, then again they do have a 30-day money back guarantee. So there's absolutely no risk for you to try out for yourself. Thank you Surfshark again for providing us a very good deal. Of course, as usual guys, before we dive into the team, it is important for us to cover some of the most crucial thing you want to note when we are using Ayato, so that you're basically fully aware of how Ayato works. Now the biggest thing when it comes to Ayato gameplay is I would say that he is a pretty good on-field DPS character, for he has access to pretty consistent and sustained damage that is good in both single target and multi-target situation, or in other words, his attack has access to AoE, which is a pretty important thing if you are an on-field DPS character. Not to mention guys, his gameplay is pretty fun and unique because his attack animation when he activates his E skill, turning his normal attack into just very fast attack animation, is very damn cool. And yes, with that, his gameplay is one of the easiest character to play in the game as well, because yes, you're just activating his E skill and spams normal attack and then that's it. Now another good thing about Ayato is that he scales with both HP and attack, and the reason why I say it's pretty good is because Ayato is a Hydro character, and Hydro Resonance has access to HP percentage increase, which is really good. So since Ayato also has HP increase buff, he will be able to benefit off of Hydro Resonance, therefore making him running alongside with other Hydro character very much beneficial. When it comes to Hydro application guys, Ayato is pretty good as well, because if he is an on-field DPS character, his normal attack is able to apply quite a lot of Hydro, not to mention he has access to his burst where it's also able to provide you off-field Hydro application as well. So yes, he doesn't always have to play as an on-field character, but also a pretty decent support character for your team if you do require a Hydro applicator, which is quite flexible in terms of role. However, that aside, he does have some of the major downside, the biggest one being is that he is a Hydro character. The reason being is is because Hydro element is basically one of, if not the most competitive element in the game right now, for there are so many good Hydro character being introduced right now, especially in the DPS role. Therefore, currently in the meta, if you look into damage dealing wise, Ayato would definitely not be on the top of the meta since he's in so much competition with character like Neuvillette, Yelan and Child. But otherwise guys, other than that, I would say Ayato is still a pretty good character if you do decide to use him, because whatever role he is placed in, he will still be able to do its job decently well. And yes, top that up with a unique attack animation that also gives him another reason for you to use him. So those I would say are some of the most important things you want to note when you're using Ayato, as he is a pretty simple character to be playing, so you don't have to worry too much in terms of his execution. And now with that, we will look into the best teams that he is currently having in the current meta. First team would be Ayato, Furina, Xiangling and Bennett. This is going to be a team that utilizes both Hydro Resonance and Pyro Resonance. As I've mentioned, he does have access to HP and attack increase together, so that is the reason why he's able to make use of both of this resonance really well, and this is one of the best teams that Ayato can currently run in. Now with the introduction of Furina, definitely one of the best teammates that Ayato would love to have on his team, because yes, of how much damage increase Furina is able to give to your team. Not to mention, another Hydro character that runs alongside with Ayato is a perfect fit for him on this team. Bennett and Xiangling, definitely the both Pyro character that helps with Pyro Resonance, yet of course is also there to help Ayato with doing his Vaporize attack, and if Ayato isn't doing the Vaporize himself, it's either going to be Furina or Xiangling doing the Vaporize, which is still pretty much a very good thing because all of these characters on the team has very good damage dealing capability. So yes, overall they are still a perfect fit. Very powerful team guys. The only thing with this team is that it's pretty expensive for your account, though not pretty much in terms of Primo Gems wise, because other than Ayato you only need like Furina, who's a 5-star character. However, Xiangling and Bennett are top tier character on your account, so if you're already using them on Ayato team, you're not going to be having them on the other team that you want, especially when you're going into the Abyss. But of course, if you're using Ayato already, then you're basically going to be focusing on having him as dealing as much damage as you possibly can, right? So yeah, it's pretty much a worth it team if you are looking for a very high damage Ayato team. Up next, we have Ayato, Furina, Yelan and Jean. This is basically going to be a mono Hydro team for Ayato, and yes, this team performs absolutely fantastic, especially in situation where you require Hydro. Basically, energy recharge level is going to be covered, and yes, Hydro damage number is going to be covered as well. Now the reason why this team just works is because, as simple as it may sound, every character on this team works absolutely well with each other. We've already covered how good Furina is a character in terms of supporting Ayato, but yes, Yelan is an absolutely perfect character for Ayato as well, for she also has access to damage increase, plus Ayato attack is considered normal attack, therefore he's able to trigger Yelan's passive damage, which is really good. And then of course we have Jean, a perfect character for healing, for we already know how much HP Furina is capable to sap out of your team. Jean is definitely a perfect character on this team. Not to mention, if you do have a C2 Jean guys, she increased basically 15% normal attack speed, therefore benefiting Ayato attack even further. So overall, a very fun team and capable team for you guys to run guys. Of course, it is a pretty expensive team because all of the characters on this team are 5 stars, but yes, if you do already have these characters on your account, then making this team is pretty worthwhile. Coming up next, we have Ayato, Furina, Kuki, Shinobu and Nahida. This is basically a Hyper Bloom team for Ayato and still works absolutely fantastic. Very good in situations where you need Hyper Bloom or basically aggravate reaction as well. You know, especially when you're coming up Abyss floor like this current Abyss where you need very specific type of elemental reactions. Ayato Hyper Bloom team still works absolutely perfectly. But not only that, considering we also have Nahida on this team, we already know how good of a sub DPS character Nahida is able to do, plus the number of EM she's providing to the team as well. That is a very valuable unit to be on Ayato team, together with Kuki Shinobu definitely being the healer of this team, and yes, basically the best Hyper Bloom triggerer for Ayato team too. Pretty much a team that works together really well. Coming up next, we have Ayato version team running having Ayato, Toma, Nahida, and Kokomi. This is basically a team that has already been working for Ayato ever since Dendro element was a thing. So yes, having Toma here to be basically one of the best version triggerer for the team is very comfy. Nahida to be the Dendro applicator and sub DPS character as always, and Kokomi of course for the healing and Hydro Resonance for Ayato, not to mention having access to Thrilling Tales of Dragon, helping Ayato to buff his attack even further. Still a very good team guys if you're focusing on version, definitely a worthwhile team for you to build. And then next team we have Ayato, Furina, Bennett, and Kazuha. Basically a pretty interesting team because every character on the team focuses on buffing Ayato damage to as high as possible, where Furina here as usual, Bennett here is gonna be the healer of the team as well as buffing Ayato attack, and of course Kazuha, also one of the best support character in the game, is here to help with damage increase as well. Now most of the time you're not going to be having too much of elemental reaction going on with this team. The best bet you have here is going to be Kazuha infusing his burst with Pyro from Bennett's Pyro application, though that might be pretty hard at time, but whenever you do, you're gonna have this team performing at its maximum level, which is really nice. So overall a little bit hard to use team, but other than that, whenever this team perform at its maximum level, you're gonna be seeing Ayato dealing very high hydro damage numbers. So those guys I would say are some of the updated best Ayato team I would be using at this current patch. I know that Ayato have access to a lot of different team comp guys, so if you do have any other team comp that worth recommending, feel free to leave it down in the comment section, as I love to have new teams to try out all the time. I hope that was a very fun video for you. And guys, if you're interested in more team comp building, I have a lot and a whole playlist of team comp building for you guys, especially if you have just pulled for Furina and looking for Furina teams. I have a very in-depth Furina team guides for you. So I really appreciate you guys sticking with me till this part of the video guys, and with that I wish you a super day, and I will catch you on my next video.